What's going on, guys? PlotArmorCards in the house, and today I'm coming to you with my Virus Layer of Darkness deck. And before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm a little bit sick today. Do have a case of the sniffles, so that's going to be, it may affect my voice or just the way I speak or a little bit of my breathing, just so you know. So before we get started looking at these duels, let's take a look at what I'm running in this deck. And so I'm running 2 copies of Lilith, Lady of Lament, 1 copy of Danger Jackalope, and interesting, it's Masterduel you can run it at 2, so I probably will be running a 2nd copy of this just because it lets you special summon a danger monster. 3 copies of Arima, the Wicked Warden. This card is super dope because you can discard it in order to add Lair of Darkness, or you contribute itself or another monster in order to pop off various effects. And I'm running 1 copy of Fallen of Albaz, and this is pretty easy just to get rid of your opponent's monsters. 2 copies of Danger Nessie, 3 Darkest Diablos, 3 copies of Bigfoot, 3 copies of Thunderbird, 1 copy of Terraforming, 3 Dark World Dealings, 3 Allure of Darkness, 3 Lair of Darkness, 3 Crush cards, 2 Deck Devastation Viruses, 2 copies of Eradicator Epidemic Virus, 3 copies of Full Force Virus, 2 copies of Grinning Grave Virus. And just so you know, I do have this deck in real life. I'll include the link for my my video on it, and you can see that there are some slight differences. Obviously, the biggest one being the extra deck, of course, but there are some slight differences in my real life version, and that's essentially what I'm shooting for. And so for the extra deck, I got 2 copies of Brigade, the Glory Dragon, 1 copy of Spring, the Iron Dash Dragon, number 100, number 75, number 97, and number 92. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at these duels, guys. All right, so turn number 1 and duel number 1. I'm going to be going first. I have Arima the Wicked Warden, Bigfoot, Thunderbird, Dark World Dealings, and Crush Card Virus. I'm going to discard my Arima the Wicked Warden, and he's going to chain Max C. And this deck, I don't necessarily special summon too much, so I'm not concerned with that. But then I can search and add Lair of Darkness to my hand, and then immediately play that Lair of Darkness. Then I'm going to set my Crush Card Virus and play Dark World Dealings, use its effect to discard a Nessie. Nessie's effect is going to activate, and then he's also gets to send a card and draw 1. So he sends his Despia and Tragedy, so we already know this guy's what he's running. And he adds an Aluber to his hand. And so my Danger Nessie allows me to add Jackalope to my hand, and then I can use Jackalope's effect. That allows, he chooses for me to discard Thunderbird. So that means I can special summon Jackalope and draw a card, and that card happened to be Lair of Darkness. So I should be good for next turn. And he's going to be using his Despia Theater, and I'm going to use my Crush Card Virus, tributing my Jackalope in order to get him to destroy all monsters on his field with 1,500 or more attack. His field and his hand, sorry. Then he's going to use Foolish Burial, and now he has limited cards. But he can foolishly bury his Despia and Tragedy in order to add another copy of Aluber to his hand. And now that he has his Aluber, he can use its effect in order to add his Branded Opening. And now that Branded Opening is being played, he can take a Despia monster from his deck, either as a hand or special summon in defense position, and he special summons his Dramaturge of Despia. Then he's going to use his field spell in order to fuse. And he's going to fuse into Despian Queritus. I'm pretty familiar with this card. I know its effect, but I forget what it... I have problems pronouncing it. And then he also special summons his Dramaturge of Despia back. So it looks like I'm in a bit of a pickle, but you'd be surprised. So he gets all of this out, and I draw Danger Nessie. So I'm going to use my Bigfoot's effect. So I get to discard the Bigfoot, and then that allows me to destroy his card, but he has Branded Opening to chain in the grave. And now I can use Danger Nessie. My Lair of Darkness gets discarded, so I can special summon the Nessie, and then I can set my Full Force Virus that I just drew. So now I contribute a Dark Monster with 2,000 or more defense, so you bet I'm tributing this guy's own monsters to activate his effects. And now that I tributed it, its effect is I can destroy all monsters with 1,500 or less defense. So all he has left is the field spell in his hand and a field spell on his field, but his field spell, I think, allows him to special summon the monster that I just tributed, Despian Queritus. However, it has less attack than I have defense, and it only lowers my attack to 0 and not my defense. So he's still attacked for some reason, but I'm good to go. And then because of my field spell, he does get a token, Torment token. And then I draw Grinning Grave Virus, so this is perfect. So he's going to use the effect again, which is kind of useless. Doesn't really matter to me. And then he draws a Dramaturge of Despia, which gets destroyed immediately, thanks to my Full Force Virus in the grave. And now he's going to use his field spell in order to probably fuse, and then I'm going to chain my Grinning Grave Virus to tribute his monster to use its effect. And he has to dump a bunch of cards from his deck to the grave, and now he's going to use or it was kind of useless in this situation, but he's going to use his Despian Tragedy in the grave, banish it to set his, I think that was, oh, we'll see what it is. And then he plays another one of his field spells, and then my field spell, because he ends, gets him to summon his monster there, gets him a token, sorry. And now that it is my turn, I draw Crush Card Virus, which this card, I know it was nerfed heavily from what it used to be in the anime, but this card is still can come in clutch, like clutch. And so his Ash Blossom is immediately destroyed thanks to Grin and Grave, and he decides to quit, and round 2, guys. So I draw a Bigfoot, a Dark World Dealings, 2 Lair of Darkness, and a Crush Card Virus. And so this guy is going to be using Dragon Maids. And he's going to summon his Chamber Dragon Maid, use its effect to add his spell to his hand, then he's going to use that spell in order to fusion summon. And then he's going to go into Dragon Maid Shiu. And that thing is effect, I know it has a negation effect, so I gotta play around that a little bit. And so I draw Arima, the Wicked Warden, and I already have 2 Lair Darknesses in my hands, so I'm pretty set, let's be honest. Unless this guy has like a hand destruction or something, I think I'm good to go. So I'm going to use my Dark World Dealings. I'm going to add 1, discard 1, and then Bigfoot's effect is going to activate. I can destroy his monster, and then he's going to chain his effect. And then as it resolves, he negates, and then he allows himself to special summon House Dragon Maid. Then I'm going to use my Lair of Darkness, and he's going to use Max C, which is kind of surprising, actually. A lot of people will use Max C right when I use Lair of Darkness, but I don't special summon too much, especially not that turn. And then I'm going to set my 2 trap cards. I'm going to use my Arima, the Wicked Warden. I contribute his monster in order to draw my technically boss monster, but he also chained his effect to special summon his monster, and then I get to draw my Darkest Diablos, and then he sends a trap card to the grave, and now that I'm ending, I get a token on my side of the field since I attributed a monster on my turn. And now it is his standby phase and main phase 1. He went ahead and draws, and then he's going to use his effect from his hand, and he's going to summon Parlo Dragon Maid, and since he summoned Parlo Dragon Maid, I'm going to attribute my monster in order to use its Crush Card Virus's effect. And I attributed mine on purpose because I have Full Force Virus that I wanted to use against his monsters, and I believe this is once per turn that I can use my opponent's monsters as tribute fodder. So I wanted to use mine in order to get rid of his. And since I attributed my monster, I can then special summon Darkless Diablos, which that pops off, or that combo works really well with each other as well. And now that I have Darkest Diablos, he's popping off other combos. He's going to fusion summon into another Dragon Maid card. And he's going to go into House Dragon Maid. And this is the perfect spot for me to use my Full Force Virus, because now I contribute his monster and all the cards that meet the requirement, which are gone. And then he decides to quit. Round number 3. Lilith, Lady of the Lament, Danger Jackalope, Darkest Diablos, Bigfoot, and Thunderbird. So I'm going to go into Lament. I'm going to tribute it in order to show him 3 copies of my Full Force Virus, and he gets to choose one of them for me to add. And since the 3 full forces, it doesn't really matter to me. Then I can special summon Darkless Diablo since I attributed Lilith, and then I can use my danger effects. Bigfoot goes to the grave, then I can add 2 Jackalopes and draw a card. And then Allure of Darkness allows me to pop off. Oh my god, there's so much going on right now. Holy crap. Then I can use my Lair of Darkness in order to tribute my... I played Duel Number Darkness, then I use my monster effect to tribute my Danger Jackalope to get rid of one of the cards in his hands. He has to shuffle it either, or put it on top of his deck or at the bottom of his deck. Then this guy has Twin Twister, so I'm like, shit, I'm screwed. And so I use my Full Force Virus because I have no other choice right now, and I tribute my Darkest Diablos in order to use its effect and destroy all monsters with 1500 or less defense. So now he just has 1 card in his hand. Now that he only has 1 card in his hand, however, this card's effect allows him to add another monster to his hand. And now he's going to go for the battle phase. He's going to destroy my token. But lucky for me, I had the token protection, and the Full Force Virus still has 2 turns to go. And now that it is my draw phase, perfect, I draw Dark World Dealing. So each player draws 1, each player discards 1. I have no choice but to discard the Bigfoot in this situation, because if I discard a Thunderbird, its effect is useless right now because he has nothing set. So after destroying his monster, I am going to end. And he draws a Max C, so kind of useless, but it does get destroyed right away. In this situation, it's useless. And then he just quits. All right, I forget what round we were on, but I draw Lilith, Lady of Lament, Darkest Diablos, Allure of Darkness ×2, and a Crush Card Virus. And this guy is going to be using Tri-Brigades. So this will be interesting because Tri-Brigades have really, really good in my opinion. So he's popping off the Tri-Brigade combos. He's gonna go to Tri-Brigade, Tri-Brigade Rugal, I forget what it's called, silver, whatever it is. But he has Fallen of Albaz on the field. I'm not sure why he did this. I'm sure there was some combo he was trying to figure out, or maybe he has a super poly or something. And so he's gonna go. He's gonna chain his effect with my Allure of Darkness. That doesn't really matter to me. And oh, what do you know? I banish my monster and I draw another Allure of Darkness. So I'm going to use Allure of Darkness and I'm going to banish my Lilith and then I'm going to play my third Allure of Darkness. And I wanted to test out Albaz because I don't get to use this too often. I only have one in this deck. So I'm going to use my Fallen of Albaz, discard my Crush Card Virus, and then fuse with his monster. Because it was special summon this turn, I can use my I don't even know how to pronounce that, but Iron Dash Dragon. This thing is actually pretty decent. I can move it to this zone and destroy everything in that zone, so that's pretty decent. And then I can just attack his monster, and now I have a bunch of viruses ready to go, and I have my Lair of Darkness, so if he summons something, I can just tribute that. And now that it his standby phase, he draws a card. He decides to summon Despian Tragedy, and then just sets a trap card, which first I thought was stupid because I can just move this into this zone, and they'd both be destroyed. But later on, I get to find out what the hell it was, and it was Infinite Impermanence, so that makes more sense. And now Infinite Permanence is going to negate my effect, which doesn't really matter because his monster only has 400 attack points. And now I'm going to go ahead and attack, and he takes 2100 to the dome, and I'm going to go ahead and end. And now his fate is dependent on this one card. So if he has Plot Armor, and he draws Harpy's Feather Duster, holy freaking shit. And I let it go through because he has nothing else, and I can just attack, and I already have Lair of Darkness, and what do you know, I draw Crush Card Virus. So Lair of Darkness, set Crush Card Virus, and he just quits. Alright, guys, final round. I should really get like a scoop counter going because everyone scoops against this deck. So Darkest Diablos, and this guy's clearly using a Blue Eyes deck based on Dragon Shrine. Darkest Diablos, Thunderbird, 2 copies of, Dark World Dealings, Lair of Darkness, and Grinning Graveyards. And so he's going to use his Melody of Awakening Dragon. That allows him to add 2 Blue Eyes cards. And this is the same combo everybody pops off with the Blue Eyes cards. He's going to add Alternative and the regular Blue Eyes because he can special summon the Alternative by showing me a Blue Eyes. So then he's going to special summon the Alternative, and then he's going to play Trade-In. He's going to discard one of his Blue Eyes in order to draw 2 cards. And then he's going to play Trade-In again, discard another Blue Eyes to draw 2 cards. And now he's going to set 1 and end it. And now that it is my draw phase, I draw Eradicator Epidemic Virus, which is honestly one of the best ones because I can just destroy all spell cards for 3 turns, which is insane. And then he's going to use Called by the Grave since I used my Danger Thunderbird. I was going to get rid of his monster anyway, and I don't really care that my Thunderbird's banished. So he was forced to use it, and at least it's out of the way. But to be fair, my monsters don't really have graveyard effects, so I'm not too concerned. I can play my Lair of Darkness and then set 2. I can't really do anything else as of right now, but I can tribute his monsters on his turn. And what do you know? He uses frickin' Harpy's Feather Duster. And I'm going to use my Eradicator Epidemic to tribute his monster in order to destroy all spell cards for 3 turns for him. And so his cards are gone, and then my other one goes to shit because Harpy's Feather Duster is annoying. It's probably like the bane of this deck's existence, Harpy's Feather Duster. And now he is going to add a card to his hand, and now that he has Blue Eyes in his hand, he can show it to me in order to special summon Alternative again. Then he's going to attack me directly, which, maybe I'm concerned with. It just depends on my next draw. And now he goes into Kristalline Helki Fibrax. And now that he's going into Helki Firebax, he's going to use its effect to bring out Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron's going to go into Link Karibo. And he's going to go ahead and end. And now I draw Danger Nessie. So I'm going to play Lair of Darkness so it doesn't get discarded. And he uses his Helki Firebax right away in order to bring out the Formula Synchron. And now that Formula Synchron's on the field, I'm not sure what I'm sure there's a combo here that I forget what it is off the top of my head, but I don't think it works when you have a Link Karibo on the field. So my Danger Nessie went to the grave. That allows me to discard. It's to add Jackalope. Jackalope's effect activated. That allowed me to send my boss monster, Darkest Diablos, and then special summon itself and draw a card. He's added Monster Reborn to his hand from drawing, and so it automatically goes to the grave. And now I have full Force Virus on the field, and so whatever he summons, he's going to go for Nightmare Phoenix. And he's going to use its effect in order to destroy my Lair of Darkness. So I was like, screw this. Might as well just tribute my monster right now. I could have waited, I know that, but I just decided to go for it. And since I tributed a monster, I can then special summon my boss monster, Darkest Diablos. And Eradicate Epidemic Virus is on turn 2, and Full Force Virus is on turn 1. So he cannot summon, I think, he cannot add spell cards to his hand right now, and he cannot add monsters with a certain point to his hand. It's going to be monsters with 1500 less defense. And so I have Darkest Diablos, that's all I got right now, thanks to my draw. And he adds another Call by the Grave as a spell card, so it's automatically destroyed. Thank you, viruses. And now Eradicated Epidemic is done, and we're on turn 2 with Full Force Fires. So he's gonna end because he has no other choice. And now I can add Fallen of Elbaz. I can wait till he summons something in order to use its effect, or I could just summon it and just start attacking, because I am pretty confident with my abilities right now. And he adds his Blue Eyes Ritual monster to his hand, which automatically gets destroyed thanks to Full Force Fires, and he quits. Holy crap, I'm pretty sure everyone I've been against today has quit. This deck is hilarious. Thank you for sitting through my virus deck and the duels with the virus deck. Now I'm going to go nurse my sniffles. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And oh my goodness, look at the time.
It's time to do